Let's take us there as day two of jury deliberations will get underway in a matter of hours here in the Daniel Penny trial. Jurors are weighing manslaughter and negligent homicide charges against the military veteran in the subway chokehold death of Jordan Neely. Want to dissect the case a little bit further, so let's bring in a good friend of the show, Jeremy Rosenthal, a trial attorney. Thank you so much for taking the time, as always, to break it down with us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Well, first off, I want to ask you an overall question here. This trial has been going on for quite a while, so what has stood out to you overall about it?
I mean, it's got everything that you could ask for in a high drama trial. You've got facts that are really quite negative for the defendant, Daniel Penny. You've got facts that are really good for him. You've got a multi-layered defense, that being, look, we didn't cause his death at all. And if we did cause it, it's because we were defending ourselves. We were defending other people around us. You've got homelessness. You've got mental illness. You've got self-defense. You've got what are we doing to clean up the subways? This thing has it all.
And I guess I know it's tough to even say, but do you have any sort of indication based on what you've seen, based on the evidence, which way the jury could go? I know that's a hard gamble to make overall.
You've asked the right person, right? My crystal ball says, it says, I really don't know. Like all jury trials, this is truly a battle for the jurors' hearts and their minds. And whoever has won their hearts is going to win this case. It's that simple, because this case is so down the middle that it could go either way. Really, what I find is that you win these cases in jury selection and an opening argument, and then you reinforce the juries there, the jury from there. And in this instance, we just don't have any read. We have no real way of knowing what's in these 12 people's hearts, what they're thinking. And almost certainly when they go back to the jury room, it's never quite as clean as even that. You might have a 10-2 split if it's a real one-sided affair. And then the 10 folks work on the other two. You could have 8-4. You could have 6-6. You could have undecided people. So there's just really no way of knowing here. But look, you've got enough reasons if you really want to acquit Daniel Penny. They're out there for you. Again, they called a forensic specialist yesterday in trial, or not yesterday, but in the trial, to basically say, look, Mr. Neely, he died in the custody of the New York Police Department. He had all of these extra medical issues, and this is why he died. He did not die for this reason, for the reason of the chokehold. That's a very, very strong argument, which it doesn't go to that self-defense issue, but it's there, and the jury can certainly bite on that if they're inclined to do that. Same thing with the self-defense. You've got a very mentally ill man who is cursing and spitting and throwing things and threatening things and approaching a mom and her baby. And so then at that point, you've got a justification defense where Mr. Penny grabbed him from behind. So if a jury wants to believe that, they can believe that. On the bad side of it, for Daniel Penny, initially the reports were that he had this chokehold on him for 15 minutes. Because everybody's got cell phones these days, I think that they're able to really sort of say that this was more like 4 or 5 minutes. But at the very end of it, there's evidence and there's testimony that he was being told this man is dying, stop, that the man had defecated himself, that he was passing out. And even after he passed out, he maintained the chokehold. So a jury who is emotionally hooked by the prosecution, they can convict him also. This thing could really go either way.
Are you surprised that the case wasn't moved out of the location where it is being held? Because there is such a heavy, I guess, eye on the case. So many people are watching it. You see it talked about all over social media. Is that surprising that it wasn't moved, or is that what you would have expected?
It's hard to move a case out of Manhattan because you have a ton of available jurors there. Getting a fair jury is just a matter of cycling through people who have never heard of the case, or who don't have an opinion on it, or who haven't seen anything that really moves them prior to the trial. This is the same place where they tried Donald Trump, who is the most recognizable human on the planet. And they were able to, believe it or not, find 12 people who didn't have an opinion about that guy and who thought that was possible. So you can certainly, I think, keep it in Manhattan. Not only that, I think it's important that it stay in Manhattan because it's important for jurors in this case. If I'm the defense, I'm leaning on jurors saying, look, you've been in a subway car and you felt threatened before by somebody's behavior. And even in their closing argument, you can't run, you can't hide, you can't go anywhere. You don't have a choice but to be in the room with that person that you're really scared of. So for the defense, I think it would be critical for them to get a jury that understands what it's like to be in that subway car. But that's a two-edged sword, if you will, because also, if I'm the prosecutor, I want jurors who are also saying, you know what, I've been in these subway cars all my life, and there's crazy people who come on and they do nutty things and they yell crazy things, and you just sit there and look at your book or you look at your phone. That's just what we call Wednesday on the subway. So I do think it's a critical component of this case that it stay in Manhattan. And again, they don't. It's hard to move a case because it's about finding a well of jurors who don't know a thing about it. And tragically, in America in the year 2024, there's no shortage of people that just don't care about anything other than podcasts about dogs and cats and things like that haven't heard of this guy and are going to give him a fair trial.
Jeremy Rosenthal, as always, thank you so much for taking the time to join us and break it down. Obviously, a case that we are tracking very closely. Anything else you want to add before I let you go?
Like I said, this thing could go either way. Bad facts for Mr. Penny, also some good facts, and you've got enough of a defense there. Again, experience tells me that these jurors have made up their mind a long time ago. We just don't have a read on that. And it's going to be about who captured their hearts. They did ask the jury instructions be reread to them in New York State. You don't get a physical copy. Don't ask me why, of the 800 pages of instructions that you're supposed to memorize. And they asked for the justification part, which I think would be a very good sign for the defense. Then again, any one of those 12 people could have asked for it, and you just don't know. So I hate saying that we spent the last 10 minutes dissecting this for a real strong maybe, but that's what lawyers do. That's what you get here from us.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at it from every angle, so I definitely appreciate you taking the time to join us here. Jeremy Rosenthal, as always, you're the best. Thank you for spending part of your morning with us.
Have a great day.